Right, so welcome to day 6, maybe. So today we're going to do something called alternate nostril breathing. There is a Sanskrit name for it, but I'm not going to give it to you. I'll put it on the video when I actually record it and when I send it to you. So it's a little bit similar to, it's not similar to what we did yesterday, but basically involves closing off the nostrils. So I don't know whether you've noticed sometimes when you're, throughout the day, sometimes you may notice that one nostril gets more blocked than the other, which is quite normal. So basically what happens is you tend to find that one side tends to be a little bit more dominant than others on occasions, particularly if you've got a cold. So sometimes if you find that your left nostril is blocked up and your right nostril is breathing a little bit more easy, it tends to mean that the sort of right side nostril is more sort of associated with sort of digestion, being alert, sort of like, if you had intense activity. So you'll tend to find that the right nostril breathes a little bit more easily. And then in the other, sometimes you might find the left nostril relates to sort of more that sort of relaxation, having that quiet time, being calm. So it's a bit like a yin and a yang, basically. So your right nostril is your yang, your left nostril is your yin. So it's all about balance. So that's what we're trying to do with alternate nostril breathing. We're trying to bring that balance into the body. It balances the left and right brain hemispheres. And any breath work, calming breath work will sort of help reduce the blood pressure. Obviously the heart rate as well. I find this one really works very well for insomnia as well. So it's quite a good one for insomnia. So the idea is, actually one thing I'm going to say before we even start this, if you ever get blocked up nose, neti pot works a treat. Again, this is sort of more sort of a yogic thing. It's called a neti pot, which is N-E-T-I. What you do, and it's like a little sort of a spouty watering can. What you do, you basically fill it with, you have to make, it's a water saline solution. So I just tend to boil water in a kettle. I use probably about it's about half a pint of water with about half a teaspoon of Himalayan salt. It has to be pure salt rather than salt with like anti-clogging stuff in there. So I use Himalayan salt. So basically you use that to dissolve the Himalayan salt. And when it's dissolved and cooled down a little bit, you put it in the neti pot. So I put quarter of a pint in there. And then what you do, you shove one, I'm not going to demonstrate it, but you basically shove it one nostril, turn your head to the side, and what happens is it irrigates the nostrils. So all the, it comes out one other nostril over a sink, obviously. And then when that one's empty, you fill it up again and do the other side. And what it does, it clears the sinuses, it clears your nose, it clears your head of gunk. So if you do have, it's particularly good if you've got things like hay fever. If you've got sinusitis or rhinitis, it's good for things like that. It's actually really good when you've got cold as well and you're feeling really stuffed up, because it just clears everything, and it does literally clear everything out of the way. So you need to probably stay in the toilet with a box of tissues for a bit, but it works really well. So neti pot, my savior over the last few days. I'm not used to it this morning, as you can tell. I'm all bunged up, but anyway. So yes, alternate nostril breathing. So what we're trying to do with alternate nostril breathing is we're trying to regulate the breath. Now we can do it as just a breathing in and breathing out, like we have been doing. Or you can also do it with the breathing in and holding. So retention is an optional thing, but we can try it with both ways. So again, we need to close off both nostrils with this one. So sometimes people just sort of use different fingers. Sometimes I tend to use my my fingers sort of like that. So I'll bring my index finger just onto my third eye area just to relax it. And again, you can use your hand or your arm to rest your right arm on. So we're going to use the right hand thumb to close the right nostril, and then your middle finger or your ring finger to close your left nostril. Right. So again, nice and upright. So what we're going to do, we're going to breathe in and out through both nostrils, and then we're going to close your right nostril. We're going to breathe in through the left nostril, and then we're going to breathe out through the left nostril. Then we're going to close the left nostril, then breathe in through the right and out through the right. Close that, in through the left, out through the left, close. So basically we're going to breathe in and out through one nostril and then move to the other side. And again, you might find that you're a little bit more bunged up on one nostril than the other. Again, that's normal, because again, that's that balance of the brain hemisphere. So you might find you're a little bit more calm or you're a little bit more energized sometimes. So you might find you've got that little bit of blockage there. So what this balances everything up. It's really, really calming. Now, if you wanted to, we could put a retention in there as well. So maybe we'll just do the normal breath work first, and then we'll add a retention in sort of, maybe we'll do about sort of 8 rounds of the normal breath work, and then we'll do a retention in there. We'll do it again, a retention. So again, get yourself nice and comfortable. Again, nice and upright as always. So you can rest your elbow onto your left hand. So whichever way you want to block. So I tend to use my finger there just on my third eye, just to sort of give it a bit of balance. So we're going to take a nice deep breath in and out through both nostrils. So breathing in and out through the nostrils. And breathing in, closing off the right nostril, breathe out through the left. Back into the left. Close the left, breathe out through the right. Back in. Close, breathe out through the left. Back in. Close, right, out. And in. Close, out to the left. And in. Hold, release through the right. Back in. Well, you do a few in your own time. Doesn't really matter what your breath rate is here, so just do it to whatever's comfortable. And then just release that breath. Bring the hands off the face and just let yourself breathe nice and normally. Maybe have a tissue handy as well. So it's nice to do in its own sort of, it's on its own sort of time. It's nice. I mean, I would normally do probably about 5, maybe 10 minutes of that one, only because it does have more of a benefit the longer you do it. So, but obviously anytime, I mean, twice a day. I mean, I tend to do it, if I'm going to do it, I tend to do it at night because it does help you sleep. So if you get stuck when your brain's going, just try doing a bit of, that's actually the thought of doing alternate nostril breathing. It gets your brain sort of totally out of the fact I can't sleep mode as well. So okay, so we're going to do try it with a retention now. So I mean, again, if we're talking ratios, I mean, ideally when you're doing alternate nostril breathing, we should be using a ratio of 1 to 2. So you should be breathing in for, say, 2, 3, 4, and then you should be breathing out for twice that amount. But obviously for the first few times, it's nice just to do it evenly. But once you get used to the idea, it's maybe worth trying to count and see whether you get, like, if you want to do, if you're a fast breather, maybe 2 or 4, breathing out for 4 or 8. And obviously if you're a slow breather, then maybe a little bit longer. Now, when we do the retention can be the same as the in-breath. If you're going to look at counting again, we don't want to make it too complicated, but if you're breathing in for a count of 4, you maybe hold the retention for 4 and then breathe out for 8. But let's do it sort of, let's not bother with the counting so far at the moment, because that makes it a little bit more complicated. It's too much to think about. So maybe just hold the breath for, we'll just breathe into whatever, and then hold it for maybe a couple of seconds, and then we'll breathe out. Okay. So nice and comfortable again. So make sure you're dropping those shoulders, make sure you've tilted your pelvis so your chest is nice and open. That's the main, really important thing. Once you get used to sort of sitting practically, it'll help with the breath really, really quite a lot. So get yourself nice and comfortable. So just going to breathe in and out through both nostrils. And when you're ready, put your hands in the correct position. So breathing in through both nostrils. Close your right nostril, breathe out through the left. Breathe in through the left. So block both nostrils. We're going to hold that for a count of 2 or 3. Open your right nostril, breathe out. Back in. close, hold, out through the left, back in, close, hold, out through the right, back in, hold, and out through the left, back in, and hold, out through the right, back in, and hold, out through the left, back in, and hold, out through the right, in, hold, release through the left, back in. Just release the nose, just let yourself breathe normally. How did you find that one? Oh, brilliant. Okay. So I'm just going to sign off, Jen, if you want to hang on for a minute. So yes, thank you for joining me today. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Take care. Bye.